Hello, guys. It's good to see you all. This is Miss Sarah Bassioni. I'll be with you today. We're going to be working on episode 1 together, which includes Unit 10, lessons 1 and 2. Our topic of the day is traveling for work. So I'd like you to visualize what it would be like to consider traveling and to get a job, to get paid, to do a certain task. How would that be like? How would it feel like? What kind of things do you have to think about before you do such a step? Now, we're going to be looking at our first slide and we're going to look at a picture prompt now. Now, I want you to tell me, what do you guys see? There's a picture of a man and he's basically wearing a blazer. He's holding some kind of bag on his shoulder. He's dragging luggage behind him. So, do you think this means that maybe he's spending more than one night at a specific place that's far away from home? Maybe. What kind of transportation would he be using? Do you think he would use the train or the bus? Or maybe even a ship? Nobody knows. But we're going to be looking deep into this topic in the next few minutes. So now, when we look at the next slide, we're going to see the image at the top, which is basically a train. If we look underneath it, we'll find two different images. The first one on the right-hand side is a bunk bed, which we can find on a sleeper train. Has anyone been on a sleeper train before? If you have, I want you to contemplate and think about that experience. Have you enjoyed it or not? And what kinds of challenges did you face on the sleeper train, or was it comfortable and enjoyable, since the idea of a sleeper train is that you spent at least 6 or 7 hours on it, or maybe even more, and you get to spend the night there, and when you wake up in the morning you find yourself already reaching your destination. So would that feel good for you or bad? Let me know. Think about it and let me know. On the left hand side here, we're going to look at the picture with the dining tables. They look quite fancy. So do you think maybe it's an express train that's of good quality? Maybe. So maybe it's not economy class. Maybe it's kind of like business class if you're flying on an airplane. Most probably people would get into the dining table here or the lunch area in order to have lunch or dinner or maybe even breakfast. So the sleeper train must have a place for food and beverage, along with sleep, place to sleep. Now, let's move on to the next slide, which is basically an email being sent by Tariq to Ali. So we're going to be reading about Tariq's experience while he tells Ali through an email. Hi, Ali. At the moment, I'm at Cairo station with my father. We're taking the sleeper train to Aswan tonight. He has a meeting there tomorrow, and he has asked me to go with him. The train leaves at 7 o'clock. There are a lot of other people who are waiting too, so the train is going to be busy. Traveling by train is a great way to see the scenery of a country. I've been on this journey before. The beds are very comfortable. I know that they're going to arrive at our destination after a good night's sleep. Booking tickets is easy. You can book online or buy tickets at a station. My father bought us return tickets from Cairo to Aswan. We usually go in first class. It is more comfortable than economy, or in other words, second class. The journey takes about 13 hours. We're eating in the restaurant carriage this evening. After dinner, the assistant on the train puts down the beds in the sleeping car. It's fun going to sleep knowing that we're going to wake up in a different place the next day. The train stops at Luxor early tomorrow morning on its way to Aswan. I think it'll be hot in Aswan. I'll call you when I arrive at the hotel. Best wishes, Tariq. Now, guys, I want you to look at question 2. Once you have read the email along with me, do you think you have the same opinion that you did about sleeper trains in exercise 1? So do you think Tariq's experience is the same as the one that you might have had? I know that you will have different answers. So some people might agree that it's the same idea and it was exciting and they spent a good time on first class in comparison to maybe someone else who traveled through economy class, which is also perfectly fine. Now we're going to be moving on to question 3. Now, basically, we're going to be looking at the words in red in our email. So make sure you focus. We need to read the questions on the left-hand side, which is questions 1 to 7. And then we're going to be guessing what those words might mean and therefore put them in the right blank spaces. So number 1, we have an example, which is the place you are traveling to. Any place that you travel to is a place that you're going to reach. So a place that you're going to reach is basically a destination. Now, along the way, when you're on your car ride or train ride, you usually look out through the window and you notice the beautiful mountains or rivers or even natural grass or scenery. So number 2, if we look at the question, we're going to look through the email to find keywords to help us know what mountains, rivers, and other natural things that you can see are. So if we look at the second paragraph here, we're going to be looking at the word scenery. Let's read sentence 1 in paragraph 2. Traveling by train is a great way to see the scenery of a country. So if you guys don't know what scenery is, you can easily guess from the keyword, which is to see. So we can see mountains, rivers, and other natural things. So number 2 is scenery. Let's look at number 3, a part of a train. So usually when you ride a train, there are parts of a train where you can get on and get off from. This is basically called a carriage. So if we look at the paragraph before last, which starts with we're eating in the restaurant carriage this evening. So basically, the carriage is the location where they're staying. People might be divided into different carriages for eating and sleeping and so on. So number 3 is carriage. Let's move on to number 4, an event when people meet to discuss something. Let's say you and I have to talk about something really important. So we go into an office and we speak about things that matter to us. In that case, we might be having a meeting. Let's look at the first paragraph at the top of the email and let's read it together. At the moment, I'm at Cairo station with my father. We're taking the sleeper train to Aswan tonight. He has a meeting there tomorrow and he has asked me to go with him. So actually, the father has a meeting and therefore they have to go to Aswan together. So number 4 is meeting. Let's move on to number 5. Arranging for something you want later. Let's say you are thinking or considering something that you have to do, and therefore you must make sure you book for it in advance. So if I'm planning on traveling, I must go to the tickets center and I must book or have a booking in advance. So number 5 is booking. Anything that you book, you arrange for it later. It's actually a very good way to plan when you book things early. So please consider that in your life. Number 6, tickets for a journey to a place and back again. People usually book either a one-way ticket or a return ticket. If you book a return ticket, in that case, you're buying a ticket to go to a certain destination and also come back from that. So number 6 is return tickets. Number 7, for less money. Anything that is for less money is called economy class. You can also find that on a train or on an airplane or even on a bus. You have different ranges of prices that you can choose from. So the prices that are for less money are called economy class. Let's move on to question 4. We're going to read again and number the sentences in the correct order. So this is basically a sequence of events. You are expected to reread the email and think of what happens from the beginning till the end and put it in the correct order. So I'm going to be giving you a few seconds to read quickly And then we're going to look at the left-hand side together for question 4. Okay. So, 4A, the train stops in Luxor. I want you to think, is this the first event that happened or not? B, they're eating in the restaurant carriage. C, the assistant puts down the beds. D, they arrive in Aswan. E, Tariq's father booked his tickets. So if we look carefully, we'll notice that number 1 is done for us. So number 1 is Tariq's father booked his tickets. What happens after that, guys? I want you to try and remember. You can always go back to the passage if you're not sure, if you don't remember. You can go back to the email. Okay, so we're going to be moving on to take a look at the answers together. Now, number 1, Tariq's father booked his tickets. That's the first part. The second part is they are eating at the restaurant carriage. The third part is the assistant puts down the beds. So after eating, they must rest. So that's number 3. Number 4, the train stops in Luxor. And number 5, they arrive in Aswan. So these are basically the sequence of events that you are expected to work on individually. I know that you must do them by yourself. However, I'm guiding you to do so. Now we're going to be recapping, guys. This is the end of lesson 1. So what have we discussed so far? You are expected to know how traveling on a sleeper train is like, and you're also expected to learn a few vocabulary words that we have discussed today, and definitely sequence of events. Hi guys, welcome. This is Ms. Sarah Bassiouni with you now. We're going to be continuing Unit 10, Lesson 2. Our topic is still the same, traveling for work. Our main focus for this session is basically using verb tenses that are present simple and present continuous. Now we're going to be looking at the slide to identify the verbs. Number 1, we're taking the sleeper train to Aswan tonight. You are expected to underline the verbs as modeled here. So the verb here is are taking. Are is a helping verb. Taking is a main verb. Let's look at number 2. The train is going to be busy. Now we need to find helping verbs and main verbs. So if we look at is, we know that that's a helping verb, and going is a main verb. So we will underline is going. Let's look at number 3. The train leaves at 7 o'clock. Now we're going to find the verb, which is basically leaves. And we're going to underline it. Number 4, we're eating in the restaurant carriage this evening. We're looking for helping verbs and main verbs. So the helping verb here is are, eat, and the main verb is eating. Number 5, the train stops at Luxor early tomorrow morning. We can even ask ourselves, what does the train do in order to find the verb? In that case, the verb is stops. Number 6, I think it will be hot in Aswan. Now, do we have a main verb or a helping verb or both? If we look carefully, we're going to realize that we have a main verb, which is think. Now, we're going to be looking at the grammar box. This is the most important part of our session for the day because it includes the grammar rules, which we must apply today. Now, if we look at the future forms, we'll notice that we have 2 kinds of future forms. If we're going to talk about something in the future, we have the present simple and the present continuous. So if we look at the first example, I think it will rain tomorrow. I'll call you when I arrive at the restaurant. This is basically used when we want to predict something that's going to happen in the future, or when I want to make a quick decision or a promise. So we use the present simple when we talk about predicting the future or making quick decisions and promises. Now let's look at the second example in red. There are a lot of clouds in the sky. It's going to rain. Here we use am is an are plus going to plus an infinitive to make a prediction or a guess based on present reality. So we're going to be using am, is, or are plus going to plus an infinitive to make a guess or a prediction based on something that we know now in the present. Let's look at the third example in red. The train leaves at 9 p.m. What time does your bus arrive on Saturday? In that case, we use the present simple to talk or ask about future events which are on a timetable. So if I know that something is at a specific schedule or at a specific time, I can use the present simple to talk or ask about it. In that case, as stated in the example. The fourth part is, I'm doing a test next Monday. Our class is visiting a museum tomorrow. So basically, the kind of verb tenses that we use here is the present continuous. We use it to be able to talk about things that we have already arranged to do in the future. So we arranged something to be done in the future. In that case, we can use the present continuous. Now, we're going to be looking at the model answers for exercise 1. And this might help you check your answers and compare your answers in your notebooks to the answers displayed here. Okay, we will move on now. In this exercise, you are expected to choose the correct form of the verb. So we're going to read carefully and we're going to try and find context clues or clues to help us guess which verb form we're going to use. So in number 1, the library closes or is closed at 4 o'clock. So please choose a book quickly. In that case, if something is habitual or according to a schedule, we will probably use the present simple, which is closes. Let's look at number 2. Do the men or are the men climbing that mountain tomorrow? If we know that something is going to be happening in the future, we're probably going to be using are the men climbing that mountain tomorrow instead of do the men. Let's look at number 3. We go or we are going on holiday next week. Remember that you have keywords here. So the keyword for number 3 is next week. In that case, we're going to automatically choose we are going on holiday next week. So it's arranged. It's planned for the future. I've already bought the tickets. So the tickets are bought, but it's planned for the future. In that case, number 3 is we are going on holiday next week. Let's look at number 4. What time has your bus arrived? Or what time does your bus arrive? Here, I'm asking about something that's going to happen in the future. So I cannot use a past tense. I must use the present simple. What time does your bus arrive? The answer is, does your bus arrive? Number 5, Nadia can't visit you on Saturday. She helps or she is helping her mother to prepare for a family party. I will read it one more time. Nadia can't visit you on Saturday. She helps or she is helping her mother to prepare for a family party. If we're talking about something that Nadia is going to do in the future, in that case, we must use the future present continuous, which is she is helping her mother to prepare for a family party. Guys, remember, you always have to look for hints to help you guess which verb form suits the sentence. Now, these are the answers. We're going to be moving on to the next part, which is basically my favorite part, speaking practice. Guys, we're going to be practicing how to choose a specific schedule from a specific time for the train to move from the schedule displayed in the PowerPoint, and you are expected to use it and practice with your friend. If we look at the speech bubbles on the right-hand side, we can maybe get an overall idea. Which train are you taking? I'm taking the first train to Luxor. What time does it leave? So guys, you're expected to try and practice. Let's say you have the luxury to travel with your friends. So you are setting the date and the time. So one of your friends might say, which train are you taking from Cairo? So in that case, you will choose a specific time and you will choose a specific destination, and you're going to say when you take the train to a specific city and when you will come back. Now, please take the time to practice and just be prepared to share your answers with the class. Now, it's writing time, guys. We have learned new vocabulary words from lesson 1, and we have learned sequence of events, and we have also revised present simple and present continuous tenses. Now, I want you to remember a time when you have traveled and write a description of your journey. Remember to include details. Write at least 4 vocabulary words in your piece of descriptive writing. Okay. So, this is a small example. Last year, I went to Alex. I was very excited because I was traveling on a sleeper train. I booked a ticket and started my journey. The scenery was fantastic. The greenery was everywhere. I arrived at my destination at 3 p.m. So guys, I want you to think of a trip that you guys took, and please try to apply what you have learned today in terms of the verb tenses along with the vocabulary words and the sequence of events. I want to thank you guys. You did a great job today. I know you worked very hard on lessons 1 and 2. Please make sure you practice speaking along with applying what you've learned in terms of the verb tenses, sequence of events, and definitely writing. Thank you guys. Have a lovely, lovely day.